Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is John chapter 5, verses 2 through 4. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool, and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, wade in the water.
Jordan's waters are chilly and cold. oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As we, of course, go through this so-called month of Black history, it is important that we get some real Black history in, which is why we've been going through all of the things of Deuteronomy 28 and showing how those things are affecting us here live and in real time. It is also important that we understand that we were a people before we became slaves, which is all that the nations want to talk about. And this is a very interesting time because if you get into this book and proclaim who you are, there are groups that will then say that you are being anti-Semitic. But then if you say too many things on the other side about the accomplishments that we have made here, then the other people say you too African American, and they ban it from schools and say you can't talk about it. So it is a very interesting situation that is so-called Black History Month, but be careful how black you get and be careful how much history you talk about. But it's supposed to be Black history, but you can't be too black and you can't talk about too much history. That right there is an oxymoron in itself. That you can call this Black History Month, but you can't get too black and you can't talk about too much history. There's only a certain amount of history that they are okay with you discussing. There's only a certain level of blackness. that the powers that be are comfortable with. Now, they can do any other thing, but when we go into doing something, it's automatically a problem. And like we have gone over coming into this Shabbat lesson, that their policy is used as a weapon against us. So when it is proposed as policy, then they hide behind the policy and say, it's not really us. It's just, we have to do what the law say. And point blank, they, pushed us to so-called wannabe law-abiding citizens, and the whole law was against us from day one and always have been. So we have to even be careful about how we deal with trying to obey the laws of the land, because it is set with a trap in it, just like it was during the times of Daniel. They said, hey, we won't find a problem with Daniel unless we find it concerning the law of his Elohim. So they specifically made a law that would cause an issue with him and his Elohim and what he was accustomed to doing. So you have all of these law of the land people not understanding that it is purposely being made to drive us further and further away from our Elohim. So at some point, we're all going to have to make a decision about whose law is going to reign supreme in our heart. Is it going to be Yahweh's law, or is it going to be the law of the land? Today's sermon is entitled The Plight of the People of Promise. People will tell you that the people of promise are destined to be rich and all of these things. And at the end, that is true. But the plight of those people was determined by the actions of how these people went about serving their Elohim. And that then determined your road. Now, the end is prophesied. Yes, that plight, the end result of those people is going to be all of these blessings. But because we didn't worship Yahweh in the fullness that we were supposed to, then the path to that end all got longer and harder. And that's a road that we have to travel. And the powers that be who have seized that land don't want us to talk about any of these things. But it's absolutely impossible to go into the history of this book and not see the connection that Yahweh has toward servitude when it comes to his people. And this is why people like to tell you, well, there's a connection between the blacks and the Jews. And I can tell you that connection real easy. The blacks are Jews. There go your connection. Mm-hmm. It's real easy to make that connection. I don't have to, try to search. We ain't got to put out, movies and show us integrating, which is what this you people is about. So you see, y'all, we have, more in common than you think. Let's just merge together. When people have been completely fighting us, every time we say who we are, they say you got to be out of your mind. But when you don't back down, now all of a sudden here comes the negotiations. But understand, that's just a front. When they get you in the corner, you will either be killed or told that you got to convert, which is what happens. You got to convert to their form or you ain't real. And if that was just one form of Jews, then you understand why they wanted to kill Christ then, right? Because we can already speak of more than one type of Jew right there. Pharisees, Sadducees, sect of Nazarene. One sentence. I already showed you three. And we're talking about there's several other. This just the big group. Okay? You got other groups. According to them, you're gonna convert to their way, or you ain't real. Which means that you have to bow down to their leadership and their control. Yahshua didn't do that. No matter how powerful they were, no matter how much money they had, no matter how much weaponry they had, he didn't do it. So we're going to begin today's sermon in Psalms 83. And we're going to read verses 1 through 18. Psalms 83 and verses 1 through 18.
Keep not you silence, O Elohim, hold not your peace, and be not still, O Elohim. For, lo, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people, and consulted against your hidden ones.
Right, when they make these laws. Now, if you guys haven't gone on Hulu and start watching the 1619 Project, there is some very interesting stuff. There's things, because a lot of this happens in real time. A lot of it sometimes slide by you. You know, you forget that Trump was able to put 3 Supreme Court justices in, and all of the laws that we thought were always going to be there, they changing left and right. All of the things that we thought had been there so long, they're changing. And this is why they did not want, this sister's project to be out there. She's not just dealing with black history, she's dealing with black present. This is why they don't want to have this conversation. And banning this 1619 Project out of schools help push it onto the television. Each time that people try to fight against us, the fight ends up making the part more successful than it would have been if they would have left it alone. This is how Yahweh do you when when your enemies come against you and they make you do this and they make you do that. The thing that they're trying to do is going to turn around and make you better. Go ahead.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Now, when I first read that, I thought, okay, they want to cut off the name of Israel from the earth. No. They want to cut it off from you, so you won't remember who you are. I didn't catch that the first 20 times I read it. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance to them. So you gonna think you Negro, Afro-American, African-American. You understand? See, you think you all those things. So the name of Israel is not in your remembrance anymore. They know it. See, that threw me before. How can you cut this name off from the earth? No, I don't need to cut it off from the earth. I need to cut it off from you. You just don't need to know that that's you. I watched a movie, and Yahweh is funny how he does stuff. You know, I'm flipping through the channels or whatever, and it wasn't even nothing I was watching. I just came in the room on this one, and it was somebody pretending to be the son so he can get the inheritance. He had kidnapped the real son and had him, chained up so he can keep going and getting information from him. But the daddy hadn't seen the son in so long that this boy was able to pass as his son. And he wanted to be his son so much that he was about to sign over $40 million worth of inheritance. And a whole lot had to go. So you got to understand, pretending to be an heir is quite profitable if you got the right daddy and the right inheritance. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They're confederate against you.
Right. And we still have a problem with the Confederacy right now. This Confederacy that was there, we have a Confederacy right here. Keep reading.
You know what's interesting about this is that we don't get it. And we've talked about, we think that, all the Caucasians are together, which they're really separate. They're together when they're coming against us.
Right.
Brother Elijah was mentioning earlier today, he was watching something. He's like, do you know the Irish were considered the first set of Negroes? He said because they fought with the Negroes while they were in Ireland with our causes until they got to America and realized, wait a minute, we're treated better than them. Then they turned on us.
But see, what happened if you go over to Afghanistan? you got different type of Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
They fighting each other. Go over there, see what happens. You know what? I think we need to stop fighting each other, and if we need to kill the brother, they will get together, kill you. After they get through killing you, they go back to fighting each other. Everybody does that, except us.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of looking at that as strange, you need to look at us as strange. Because every other nationality do. They'll be in the midst of choking each other. Who is this? You know what? I'm going to choke. Remember this pose. I have both hands around your neck. All right? We're going to start back right here. Don't forget how I had you now. All right? But let's get rid of this right here. And they'll all stop. Every other nation on the planet will stop to get rid of whoever that is and go back to fighting themselves later. Not us. We so enveloped in fighting one another, we don't even notice. We fighting each other and the enemy just tiptoeing, picking up our stuff, walking back out. We ain't noticed the TV just left the house. The furniture going down the street, but we so enveloped. See, this is what happened when we get into we put so much passion. You know, we love hard and we hate hard too. So we so into what we into that the whole house is going behind us. We ain't got sense enough to stop what we doing and see. You know, by the time you get through fighting, you so busy trying to win the fight, your house is gone. You ain't got no house because you've been so focused on that. You haven't paid attention. Other nations don't do that. They have no problem stopping in the middle of what they're doing to notice, hey, this group of people is getting too high. Mm. See, we noticed that in the beginning. Hey, Egypt thought they were gods. They said, well, wait a minute. These people, you know, they came down here, one but 7 of them. But they multiply like rats and roaches. These people, it's like leaving a sandwich out at night. You know what I'm saying? Look how many of them get, no, it's too many of these here. We got to figure out what we're going to do. We hadn't threatened them at all. We hadn't done one thing against them. But you see how the heathen thinks? He's automatically always counting your numbers. And this whole thing is starting. Do you know in the first part of the 1619 project, they automatically said, this war is being waged against us because we are about to not be a minority. And we've been talking about this for over a year, 2 years. Now that has now hit the mainstream. It's not about you doing anything to them because they have to try to maintain supremacy. By the sheer thing of your numbers causes a problem. So we read in the beginning of this book, children of Israel had not done one thing against the Egyptians. They just didn't like their multiplication. Same thing here. And they're going into all of the things that we had talked about before, how they use the redistricting as a war tactic against us. So some people are just hearing that. It should be a refresher course when y'all turn this on. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, you know, I was watching a thing. This sister, I think her name is Shirazada Ali. She wrote a couple of books about, you know, the stuff that's plaguing us and stuff like that. And she was mentioning, she said, you know, I was on every TV station for 5 years straight. As long as I got on there and it was black people against black people. Because she would get on there. You know, what makes you think you know about me? Well, you know, when they going back and forth with her, she said, the minute that I got on these shows and other people started saying, okay, so what we need to do to try to fix this and work this out? She said, I got canceled.
Yep.
They don't want us to figure out how to get along.
Exactly. As long as we on that doing the Jerry Springer, you know, they were, and somebody in the back, Jerry. Yeah. And folks want to know, you know, Priest, why don't you go on to those things with those brothers doing? What, so we play battle script? I'm not going on there to play no battle script. How's that going to help us? See? And while we do it, is a bunch of people in the background. Jerry. Sock, I bet you won't hit him. Right. Go ahead.
Psalms 83 and verse 6. the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Now, you got all of these things. So when he says a confederacy, all these people are together against you, as it is to this day. Even America's enemies will not fully say they know who you are. They lightly put it out. Well, we know about those people that you got. We know about such and such, but they lightly do that. Why? Because they still confederate in, look, we don't want them to be in control, because then we're going to have to deal with their God. And we knew y'all, you know, it's like, look, we all heathens here. All right, now you will be a heathen than I am, but if them real Jews get in control, then they're gonna be trying to have this righteous stuff all over the earth. And that's not how we get down. Right. Go ahead.
Asher also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Do not do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Andor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zeba and as Zalmona, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Elohim in possession.
Have they not already done that? So when Yahweh speaks of something, you have to deal with the near prophecy and the far prophecy. Go ahead.
O my Elohim, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burns at a wood, and as the flame sets the mountains on fire. So persecute them with your tempest, and make them afraid with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek your name, O Yahweh.
That they may seek your name. You know, it's something very interesting when people can really proclaim that they are the holy people, but in his land, but won't say his name. You have to think about just how strange that is. You know, if your son think your name is daddy, there's something wrong. You have failed somewhere. Why do your son think your name daddy? Does he think that everybody got the same name as you? See, there's certain things that we have been made afraid to speak. But that's part of the why they want to get certain people in. And just like you were talking about this sister being canceled, you know, once the focus changes to, hey, what can we do to fix this? Oh yeah, it's time for you to go. Now you're trying to go to the next level. When you deal with most Israelites, all they talking about is we Israel. So what we gonna do after that? We just gonna be Israel for the next 100 years? We're gonna go around having Israelite pet rallies? Give me your J. Hey, you got your J, you got your J. We gonna do that? Judah! Ooh, Judah. Now we finna step with it. And we gonna turn it into, you know what I'm saying, college stepping. Judah. For real? We gonna keep doing this? Man, I know folks have been doing this already for 10, 12 years. Chanting. For real? And you think that's gonna please our Elohim? You might be excited that you found out you're Israel. He already knows who you are. You are not impressing him by you showing that you impressed that you found out who you are. You think that impressed him? Imagine your child coming home one day, Dad, I just found out I'm your son. You playing, right? I'm supposed to be impressed by that? Okay. Go ahead.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that you, whose name alone is Yahweh, are the Most High over all the earth.
Right. And there's something wrong when somebody says that they are a son, but they can't say the daddy name. There's something seriously wrong with that. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 20. And we know that's meeting somebody 101. Back in the day, they asked you, who your daddy, boy? You couldn't say daddy. Daddy, my daddy. See, they trying to figure out, what kind of man are you? What kind of man you gonna grow up to be? I'm trying to see if I want my kids playing with you. Who your daddy, boy? You got to tell them a name. Jimmy Lee. Jimmy Lee, your dad. They think about everything Jimmy Lee, what they know about Jimmy Lee. You know what? Come here. No, don't y'all play in the front yard. I need to see y'all. Yeah, baby. Let all the windows up. Open the curtains. Yeah, I know Jimmy Lee. Go ahead.
2 Chronicles chapter 20 and verse 1. It came to pass after this also that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, and with them other beside the Ammonites, came against Jehoshaphat to battle. Then there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, There comes a great multitude against you from beyond the sea on this side Syria. And behold, they be in Hazazon Tamar, which is En Gedi. And Jehoshaphat feared and set himself to seek Yahweh.
This is what you do, okay? What the nations are doing is everybody is getting their weapons up. Everybody getting their weapons up. They're getting their military gear. They're preparing. The way you prepare is to seek Yahweh your Elohim. You can't outgun them. You ain't going to outman them. But you can out-Yah them. See, they God got to ask our God. See, you got to understand something. See? They God have to ask your God, can he do something to you? So I don't care what kind of weapons they got. I don't care nothing about that. They still got to ask your God. Lucifer can't do nothing he does not have authority to do. Now you have to ask yourself, did he have authority to come and get you at certain places, or did you walk outside the hedge in Lucifer's yard? See, sometimes you go somewhere, even Lucifer is surprised. What you doing here? What you doing here? Oh my God! What you doing? You came up in here? Whoa, boy, we gonna beat the hell out of you. Whoa, we gonna beat the... I can't believe, Yahweh, he came to my house. I didn't go to his. You told me I couldn't go to his house. You told me there was a hedge around his house. Yahweh, he in my house. Surely you gonna let me slam him on his head at least twice. I mean, I need to show him I'm real. I mean, he need to know fat meat greasy, right? Okay, go ahead.
And proclaimed a fast throughout all Judea. And Yehudah gathered themselves together to ask help of Yahweh. Even out of all the cities of Yehudah, they came to seek Yahweh. And Jehoshaphat stood in the congregation of Yehudah and Jerusalem in the house of Yahweh before the new court, and said, O Yahweh Elohim of our fathers, art not you ill in heaven, and ruleth not you over all the kingdom of the heathen?
All the kingdoms of the heathen. See, they God got to ask your God. You talking to them, I don't need to be talking to you. I don't need to be talking to you. See, I talk to my God, and then your God gonna have to talk to my God, and then he gonna find out, okay, I'm gonna let you come this far because these people right here have done some stuff that they shouldn't have done. I'm gonna let you take care of them. But I ain't going to let you touch the rest of these because they did what they supposed to do. Go ahead.
And in your hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand you? Are not you our Elohim, who did it drive out the inhabitants of this land before your people Israel, and gave it to the seed of Abraham, your friend, forever? And they dwelt therein, and have built you a sanctuary therein for your name, saying, if, when evil comes upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house, and in your presence, for your name is in this house, and cry unto you in our affliction, then you will hear and help. And now, behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom you wouldest not let Israel invade when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us, who come to cast us out of your possession, which you have given us to inherit.
Right. This is why you have all of these movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark. What is that about? They trying to raid the treasures of Yahweh. Most of the stuff is so, there's certain, Yahweh is absolute genius, all right? His wisdom is unmeasurable. There's certain things that people steal, right? But then there are things that are so valuable, when they steal it, they can't sell it. Yahweh is amazing in his wisdom. They got some stuff that's so valuable that if they sold it, everybody gonna find out. So all they can do is put it in the basement and keep going to look at it. Until the day he said, all right, now go back there and give that back to my people. So all they did for 2,000 years was look at it. Look at it. We read. Yeah, but you can't tell nobody you got it. So you have to ask yourself, the Gentiles put these people that they got out of Germany and said that these are the children of Israel. Why they haven't given them any of those treasures they got there? Now they're giving them all this money. Why don't they open up that vault in the Vatican and start giving them all of that stuff? I don't, all of the stuff that England have, that Great Britain have, why they don't give them that stuff that they done took out of Jerusalem? Why they didn't give it back? Why haven't Yahweh caused them to give it back? See, Yahweh operates a certain way when it comes to his people. See, he don't have that to come back until his people get there. You been there since 1948. Why you ain't got these treasures they got in the basement? I mean, they sending you money and military equipment like it's going out of style. They sending you billions, but they can't give you they can't give you that manure. Why they can't give you the manure? You mean tell me they gave you $1 billion, they can't give you the manure? Now something don't sound right about that. Hey man, let me get that candlestick. Look here, man. I give you F-16, man. No, man, I just want the candlestick. Look, man, all right, 2 F-16. Now stop coming over here. You mean to tell me that 2 candles is worth 2 F-16s? Right. Something smells fishy here. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, but not only have they not given it back, you just mentioned they have not even asked for it. We got
one time I heard them ask for it, and it was a chuckle from the Gentiles when they did. You know what I'm saying? It was. Come on now, y'all know we all lying here. All right, come on now, you lying, I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, we lying. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, come on. You can't meet me with my lie and try to trump my lie with your lie, and then we come on now. Come on. They tried one time, and it died right down because everybody know. Come on now. You gonna try to make me be truthful in a lie? This don't even sound right coming out. Do it. It don't even sound. Be truthful with your lie, brother. Come on. Go ahead.
Verse 12. O our Elohim, will you not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that comes up against us. Neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon you. And all Yehuda stood before Yahweh, with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Then upon Yahaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Yael, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the Spirit of Yahweh in the midst of the congregation. And he said, Hearken, you, all Yehuda, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem, and you, King Jehoshaphat. Thus says Yahweh unto you, Be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but Elohim's.
Right. Understand, Yahweh is setting up a great battle, and it is for his name's sake. See, it says you have built the house, that we've built the house for your name. How is his name getting glorified? I think about even this whole last situation that everybody want to say, oh, this brother said something anti-Semitic. The brother said simply, I was searching for Yahweh, and I ran into this documentary. Now, how is it that he never ran into any of their document? You own the whole media. But when he searched on Yahweh, none of your red control media had anything about Yahweh. Because you can proclaim, but you can't say the name. There's something seriously strange about that. So this is how you even walk into it. It says, publish you the name of Yahweh. So how is it the only people saying his name is us? They wasn't even saying the name on Sunday morning until we start saying it. Now all of a sudden, you know, Jesus got a last name. His last name Yahshua. Jesus Yahshua. Who is that? Who is that? Who is Jesus Yahshua? Is that like nickname? Who is that? All of a sudden, a whole nother name come out. They tried to tell us, no, he had many names. It's Jesus, 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 Jesus. They got a song that is one lyric. Jesus. It don't say nothing else. That's one. That had to be the easiest song to write ever. What you gonna write? I'm gonna write a song. What's the name of it? Jesus. All right, how it go? Jesus. Jesus. Ooh, Jesus. That's all you say? I say, Jesus, Jesus. Wait a minute. I said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Wait, is he saying the same thing? And he say that for 5-6 minutes. But all of a sudden, now another name has been introduced. And I mean, it's a big thing because it's the top of the echelon of Sunday morning who has now begun to say Yahshua. After telling us that we were clowns and that we were this and we were that, all of a sudden the name of Yahshua is all of a sudden coming out of the top echelon. So, you know, it ain't got no choice but to come out of little corner-side concrete church over there, because the top echelon have already said it. See, when Joel Osteen start telling you, wait a minute, his church is the size of a baseball stadium. All of a sudden, he's keeping dietary law. They understand the name of Yahshua. You have all of these big preachers now dealing with it after they came out against us. But see, the name of the game is to ridicule you and see if they can make you stop. When they can't make you stop, they don't have any choice but to go ahead and acknowledge, all right, what they're saying is true. Why? Because their members start asking them questions. I mean, who's this Yahshua they keep mentioning? I mean, who's Yahshua? How they make two mistakes in the Bible? They was talking about Joshua and they put Jesus, and Jesus wasn't even born yet. See, you keep presenting things, they keep taking that back to the pastor office. Can I ask you a question? No, you got to set up an appointment. and write your question down before. See, I got to set up an appointment and I write down my question before, and I can't ask no other question but the question that I write down. Yes. And make sure you got to leave an offering. Yeah, what else I got? Do I have to leave a blood sample or something? Right. But that kept coming, so they don't have any choice but to deal with it. Go ahead.
I'm laughing because ain't that what your boy told his congregation? Don't be engaging with them Hebrews. My friend did, and they broke him.
Yep. He said he broke him. I don't know how you break a man, but he must have twisted him with scripture. He broke him. But see, what did he break? He broke the stronghold of the misteaching that was on that man's mind. See, it's like trying to have a conversation with Jehovah's Witness. You can talk to them, but you're never going to get but so far. It's very few of them that break hold out of that teaching. They have a book that ain't like any other book. Their book is missing whole writings. If you ever even read with them, you got to have your own book. You can't let them read it. Because they'll be telling you it say such and such, and you go home. Man, I sure thought that said something different. You get in your book and say, well, it does say something different. Then you find out, oh, no, they had their own sword. You don't ever fight with another man's sword. You don't let him say, hold my sword. Nah, man, you hold your own sword. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Tomorrow go you down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and you shall find them at the end of the brook, before the wilderness of Yeruel. You shall not need to fight in the battle. Set yourselves, stand you still, and see the salvation of Yahweh with you. O Yehuda and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahweh will be with you.
And it's these types of things that confuse us more than anything, okay? It's like, go dip yourself in the Jordan 7 times. Wait a minute now, I want you to heal me, and surely I can do, this don't even sound right. You got a great army, and Yahweh tell you, oh, no, you're not going to need to fight. Yeah, we don't think you understand. They got weaponry. They got all this stuff. So how do you perceive your help? When an army is coming toward you, what gives you the feeling of security? So what's happening in Ukraine? They keep asking, give us some F-16. We want this, we want that. You know, Kishra mentioned it. Do they even know how to fly that?
No, there was a report where they were showing that they were calling for help. Something...
Hey, yo, what the blue button do? What the blue button do? Brrr. What the blue button do? Brrr. Right. So, do you need, if you see 50 tanks, do you need to see 60, that Yahweh need to give you 60 tanks so you can feel comfortable? What if they have 50 tanks and Yahweh give you a horse? All right, son, go take care of the business. Question. Is this a special stallion? Because they got 50 tanks. This thing don't even have a saddle on it. So I'm just you know, little man, the big God. I'm just trying to figure out. Do I just grab this thing by the hair? How am I supposed to beat them with this? What does it take to make you feel comfortable? See? Where is your faith level? He's not matching tank for tank. He's not matching bomb for bomb. Right. Go ahead.
And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground. And all Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahweh, worshiping Yahweh. And the Levites of the children of the Kohathites and of the children of Korhites stood up to praise Yahweh Elohim of Israel with a loud voice on high. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Yehuda, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahweh your Elohim.
Believe in Yahweh your Elohim, even when it looks like you outmanned and outgunned. Go ahead.
So shall you be established. Believe his prophets, so shall you prosper. And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahweh.
Wait a minute now. They got a large amount of tanks. If you don't understand that this is us, in any situation, what we doing? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, here come the master. Boom, boom. And we about to get tortured. What we doing? Boom, boom, bum, bum, bum. Woo! What? Bro, they about to kill you. Y'all singing? What? We done put together a quartet. We got weapons coming at us, and we trying to figure out, hey, which one of you brothers can sing bass? Now see, this is Israel, okay? We ain't changed. We still the same people now. They destroying us. Why you think they use us for their entertainment? You say these people so crazy. We be out there destroying the people and they singing there, humming and stuff. That's why we said, sing us one of them songs of Zion. Who you think used to come and watch us sing the Negro spirituals? It was Gentiles. Our people don't even want to sing those no more. We want to sing happy, happy songs. We don't want to sing no Negro spirituals. But them Negro spirituals is like, look, I'm going to go through something, but Yahweh, you going to come get us. See? We want to sing them songs where we already together. We don't want to sing the song where we are underfoot and he comes and saves us. We want to sing the happy song. We're already rich. We're already happy. We're already free. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting you bring up the Negro spirituals because Yona was like, man, that thing you sent was interesting. Brother was saying all the Negro spirituals are played on the black keys of the piano.
Now, that ain't nothing I ever noticed.
Yep, he went through it and played them.
That's interesting. Go ahead.
And that should praise the beauty of holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, hallelujah, for his mercy endures forever.
Even when people say hallelujah, they never knew what they were saying. There was some people in the church that knew. You ask an old lady, she said, oh yeah, baby, that's God's name. Why you keep saying Lord all the time? See, that was given to us as a substitute. So you talking about Yah was in here over 7,000 times. So how can you be in his land, but you can't say his name? Go ahead.
And when they began to sing and to praise, Yahweh set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir.
Wait a minute. See, I need for my quiet to listen to this. Hold on, quiet. Hold on, everybody, be quiet. I need my quiet to listen to this now. And when they began to sing and to praise, Yahweh sent ambushments against the children of Ammon. You better hit that note. You better hit that note. And you can't hit it, just go around it. You better massage it, and you can't get all the way up there. See, if you don't sing with all that you got, we might get killed out here. See? So I'm going to need y'all to be singing. Look, we might be on one hill, then y'all singing on another. We look back. Hey, from down here. Hey, there's some brothers down over here. Y'all ain't singing. Come on. Go ahead, brother.
Which were come against Yehuda, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and to destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. And when Yehuda came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked onto the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped.
Now see, that's when you hit some notes right there. See the brother with the bass was definitely singing right there. Yeah, and when you come through and this brother just laying in the trench, boom, boom. Yeah, he did that. That's a new meaning to boom, boom. Yeah, come on. Go ahead.
And when Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both riches with the dead bodies and precious jewels, which they stripped off for themselves, more than they could carry away. And they were 3 days in gathering of the spoil, it was so much. And on the 4th day, they assembled themselves in the valley of Barakah, for there they blessed Yahweh. Therefore the name of the same place was called the Valley of Barakah unto this day. Then they returned, every man of Yehuda and Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them, to go again to Jerusalem with joy. For Yahweh had made them to rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with psalteries and harps and trumpets onto the house of Yahweh.
So now they done put together a band. He said, look here, man, we finna take this thing on the road. All right? We're about to take this thing on the road. All right? All right, y'all ready? Come on now. We got to move. I know we were singing in one place, but now we got to sing and move. All right? Come on. Now, how this brother with the heart moving? I mean, they must have put this thing on some wheels. You know what I'm talking about? They got this thing happening, brother. You putting the band back together. This the Blues Brothers right here. Hey, man. There ain't no more cooking chicken. We putting the band back together. Come on. Go ahead.
And the fear of Yahweh and the fear of Elohim was on all the kingdoms of those countries when they had heard that Yahweh fought against the enemies of Israel. So the realm of Jehoshaphat was quiet, for his Elohim gave him rest round about. Jehoshaphat reigned over Yehudah. He was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in the way of Asa his father, and departed not from it, doing that which was right in the sight of Yahweh.
All right, so it's a thing based on how you walk. You are influencing your children, whether you know it or not. You can say all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Do what I'm telling you to do, son. Do not smoke. If you didn't want him to smoke, you shouldn't smoke. You can't tell him to do something. You know, you got to be more specific. Look, don't smoke these cigarettes. You're going to die with this. You got to, and then you can't turn around and do the stuff that you're telling him not to do. So for them to follow in the line of their fathers, all right, they're setting up something. This is what we do. Bah, bah, bah. When you talk about, hey, my son lazy, my son such and such. Do your son see you work? When your son see you work? Well, by the time my son see me play the video game, that's what he want to do. That's all he see you do. Go ahead.
Howbeit, the high places were not taken away, for as yet the people had not prepared their hearts onto the Elohim of their fathers. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Jehu, the son of Hanani, who is mentioned in the book of the kings of Israel. And after this did Jehoshaphat, king of Yehudah, join himself with Ahijah, king of Israel, who did very wickedly.
And this is us, joining ourselves, believing that we are joining other Israelites, but what we're doing is joining unto wicked people. See, there's some of us that would rather join to a wicked Israelite than a righteous Gentile. Well, this my people. Yeah, them gonna get you killed. Go ahead.
And he joined himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish, and they made the ships in Ezon-Geber. Then Eleazar, the son of Dodavah of Mersha, prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, because you have joined yourself with Ahijah.
Because you have joined yourself, you have done righteous things. But you see what you done now? You done turned all your righteousness into wickedness because you want to hang out with a wicked cat. And we do it all the time. And think that hanging out with the wicked cat not going to affect us. Well, I didn't do the evil. I wasn't in the evil. I was just around it. You know what I'm saying? So I was more like marinated in the evil sauce. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't eat the evil meat. You know what I'm saying? But the sauce is all in me. Right. Go ahead.
Yahweh has broken your works, and the ships were broken, that they were not able to go to Tarshish.
He has broken your works. And folks don't even understand when their works got broke. They think that, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this and that. Watch them. My elder used to say, watch people who you don't see in here no more. Give it a little time and watch how their works just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller until they all but disappear. But they swear they were leaving here and they were going to go platinum. Right. Because you done joined yourself to some evil. You've been cut off. Let's go to Numbers chapter 20. I used to hear my elder talk about that, and I was like, I don't know enough about that, so I'm just gonna stay out. Time answers all questions. Some folk need to be successful enough so they'll get the hell on out of your presence, because they ain't gonna do nothing but cause you problems if they stay. They need to be successful enough so they'll leave. Then he'll deal with them. But they need to be successful enough. Because if they hang around you, you have to consider, if Abram and Lot stayed together, look, we just read, it was Lot's people causing us all kind of problems. Abram didn't see that. See, but I want to be with this. This is my folk. You got to learn. It's some of my folk that I deal with the least. We want to do, well, this is my brother. This is my sister. It's some of y'all that know more about me than my family. Some of them, and it was my family that taught me. It's some people you got to deal with a long handle spoon. I got a spoon that'll reach from here to that wall. I'm going to feed you, but you're not going to get close to me. Well, step back. Step back now. Come on now. Come on. You're not getting the spoon. Get back. I keep them way over there. Why? Because I know them. They get too close to me, I'm going to get stabbed. I'm going to get shot. I'm going to get all that. No. I'm going to help you, but I'm going to help you from over there. You told me you going to let me loan money. I did, but you're walking up on me. Don't walk up on me. I'm going to get the money. I put it by the third tree on the left. No. I don't need you here in this space. You understand? No. Go over there. Stay over there. Because with you comes nothing but negativity. And you have to recognize, whether that be your family, whatever that is, you got to recognize that when this individual enters in this circle, it ain't nothing but negativity. I'm going to help you from over there. You're not coming over here. Because now that negativity floating all through my house. Now I got a problem with this kid. I got a problem with that kid. I got a problem upstairs. I got a problem downstairs. I got a problem in the shed. I ain't even been in the shed. I got a problem in the shed. I get a problem in the shed. Right. Numbers chapter 20. And we're going to read verses 14 through 21.
And Moshe sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus says your brother Israel, you knoweth all the travail that has befallen us. How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto Yahweh, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and has brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of your border. Let us pass, I pray you, through your country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed your borders. And Edom said unto him, you shall not pass by me, lest I come out against you with the sword.
And as it is to this day, go to any other, you go anywhere in Atlanta, those neighborhoods, you got neighborhoods that are specific to certain ethnic groups. Get out your car and walk through that. Matter of fact, just drive through there. See what happened to you. But then anybody can come and walk through our neighborhood. The white girl can jog with her German Shepherd right through the dope trap. The thugs don't even bother. You go to somebody else's neighborhood. Before you pass that second house, everybody in the neighborhood know you there. You keep seeing curtains move. The blinds get that little opening in them. I knew some folk had called the police on me. And I was working. I got this one move that I saw. I turned and I saw the blinds do that. I said, uh-oh. I pulled and hurried up and pulled in the driveway. And it was the people who I was waiting on. But the folk across the street had done called the police. Now, because I pulled in the yard, see, it don't even look. I wouldn't but this far different, but let me show you how they play with their policy. I had a problem with one of my cars, right? So I had an old truck in the driveway. Now, I don't recommend you doing this at home. I took the tag off the car and put it on the truck. Of course, you know the police can tell that when they run the numbers. So once the folk had done called the police on me, and I saw, and this all I got. Just that much was enough to make me say, because I was parked right in front of the house. I crunk up, pulled in the driveway. By the time I cut the car off, the police pulled behind. They going through all of this stuff. He said, that tag don't belong to that. I said, yep, you right. He said, when I run this tag, is it going to be stolen? I said, no, it's mine. It just don't go to that. He said, yeah, but you know that's illegal. Yep. Yep, you right. Everything you're saying right, officer. There. So you just pulled in the driveway? I sure did. Go ahead and we probably need to go and have the rest of that conversation, though, officer. Let's not stop that because this is what they call private property. And you can't give me no ticket here. All right. Well, I'm on. Your stuff paying out. We're going to go on and leave you here. Of course, that was the longest job I ever had. I said, man, I'm going to do this one extra nice. Because I keep peeking out the window seeing if they there. I can't leave yet. And when I did leave, boy, I tell you, it was like the spook who sat by the door. I was looking at every street going down. Yeah. But hey, that's all I got. But it was because I was parked there too long in their neighborhood. And understand something, this was in Decatur. But this was farther enough down Candler Road where Decatur turns into Decatur. You understand? You understand? See, you got to know. See, you got to know now. Because you go farther enough down the street, it completely changes. All right? Same street. All right? That's just like, and I know y'all on the West End, you got one over there, you got Cascades, and you got Keke. You know what I'm talking about? So if you keep going down, because Cascade has some mansions on it, but you keep running, you run into Pookie and them and that Keke. You know what I'm talking about? I said, where you live? You live on Cascade or you live on Keke? You know what I'm talking about? Then you got to bring your pistol if you live on Keke. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 19. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of your water, then I'll pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, you shall not go through.
Uh-huh.
And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand.
Right. This is what happens when we go to somebody's neighborhood. We move and buy a house. We can afford the house. Yet, they start attacking us in the neighborhood. Tell me when we do that to anybody. Not one time do we go and attack the Gentiles in our neighborhood. Do we attack the Mexicans or anybody who move in our neighborhood? But when we move in theirs, right off the rip, they let us know. Go ahead.
Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him.
Uh-huh. All right, let's jump to chapter 22. And I want you to read verses 1 through 12.
And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab on this side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Mm-hmm. And Moab was sore afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel.
See, your fame goes before you. Go ahead.
And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as the ox licks up the grass of the field. And Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, behold, there's a people come out from Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray you, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you blessed is blessed, and he whom you cursed is cursed. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they came unto Balaam, and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I'll bring you word again, as Yahweh shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And Elohim came unto Balaam, and said, What men are these with you? And Balaam said unto Elohim, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covers the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them, peradventure I shall be able to overcome them, and drive them out.
Right. So what do you think it's going to be like as the children of Israel are driven from these parts and have to go somewhere else, and you have a great number of people? See, this is how Yahweh also shows you which ones you don't have a choice but to war with, because they won't be peaceful towards you. They won't give you an option. Go ahead.
And Elohim said unto Balaam, You shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed.
You cannot curse the people, for they are blessed. So people want to tell you about our blessing and about our curse. Understand, all of those come from the same entity. They can't curse us. Yahweh was the only one that cursed us. And how Yahweh cursed us is because we didn't walk in the blessing. Now, if we turn around and repair that, then we turn the curse back into a blessing. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23. Deuteronomy chapter 23, and we're going to read verses 1 through 14.
He that is wounded in the stones, or has his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh.
Now, so if somebody have, they think, I'm not going to check. But if I find that you used to be something else, you can't come in here. That's Yahweh. That's you discriminate. Write Yahweh a letter. I tell you, I'm sure he has a complaint box somewhere, and you can put it in the complaint box and tell him, you know what I'm saying? Because he says you don't have your original equipment. You know? What happens when you have a vehicle and you change it? It lost value. They say, this came with heated seats. You put different kind of seats in here. This came with aluminum alloy wheels. You put some chrome on here. You thought you were making it better, but it lost value when you changed the original equipment. This came with a navigation system. What is this thing you got in here? You changed the original equipment. It has lost value. Okay? Do understand, when every person wakes up for judgment, you are going to have your original equipment. So if you got you a pretty nose and you used to have a big one, when you wake up, you're going to have that big nose. All right? Just understand what's going on here. All right? Go ahead.
A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of Yahweh.
Now, what you're going to deal with, though, as you go through this, there are certain things that Yahweh still deals with in the spirit, and then there's other things that Yahweh has elevated to another level. Go ahead.
An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of Yahweh forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way.
So then this is not about who they are as people. This is not an ethnic situation. This is about you tried to curse my people. Go ahead.
When you look at this is all of them, no matter what generation. But yet we go through this thing of, well, I didn't own slaves per se, but you still dealt with it through your family line.
Not only that, you received inheritance. can't tell me, you know what I'm saying? I didn't rob the bank, but my daddy robbed the bank. He dug a hole and put the money in the back. And anytime I run, short, I go and I dig the hole and I get that money out. But I didn't rob the bank. Yeah, but you got the bank robbery money in the backyard. And then that money increases in value. The stuff that you stole would be now worth a lot more money. Well, you're going to be held responsible for that, especially when you use that money to invest and make more money and still trying to claim innocence. But see, that's what privilege does to you. What Trump say? My dad just gave me a measly $1 million or something like that. It was nothing. It was change. It was a small loan. It was $1 million or $2 million. I forget what it was. It was so little. There's something seriously wrong with you when you can say that with a straight face. It wasn't nothing but $1 million. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. Them boots were solid gold, though. Those weren't regular boots. Go ahead.
Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, when you came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse you. Nevertheless, Yahweh your Elohim would not hearken unto Balaam, but Yahweh your Elohim turned the curse into a blessing unto you.
Turn the curse into a blessing. See, that's the thing that they don't want to deal with us. They want to stay at curse, 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 curse. But do you understand that it's only time that's changing, that's sitting in between that curse being turned into a blessing? Tick tock. Tick tock. But if they can keep your mindset stuck on curse, then you won't proceed long enough to get to the blessing part. Because the blessing is the opposite of the curse. He said, I'm going to punish you 7 times more. In the curse. In the blessing, he said, I'm going to give you 7 times more. So your blessing mirrors your curse. Go ahead.
Because Yahweh your Elohim loved you. You shall not seek their peace nor their prosperity all your days forever. You shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You got some of them Hebrew Negroites that's their whole sermon. Their whole thing. They welcome you to their Hebrew Negroite services, and then they just bash Edom, and everybody is Edom. White people Edom. Jewish people Edom. Edomites, they Esau. The dog is Esau. You know what I'm saying? The cat is Esau. What? You got an Esau cat? What is wrong with y'all? Anything they don't like is Esau. Look at that car. I can't believe he painted that color. Esau. What that got to do with the car? Right. Go ahead.
You shall not abhor an Egyptian, because you was a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of Yahweh in their 3rd generation.
What's insulting is when people try to pretend that this is them. You know what I'm saying? We were slaves in Egypt. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. They'd have to have some mighty sunscreen for people to be out there from sun up to sundown. And I mean, they could have done that now from sun up to sundown on Monday. Now, come Tuesday, there would be a problem. There's going to be a problem Tuesday. Because when you fire red and inflamed, you're not going back out there. No, Massa beat me. I'm not going back out there. Right. Go ahead.
When the host goes forth against your enemies, then keep you from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness that chances him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp.
Right. Understand that now. When the host goes forth, then you have to separate yourself. You are in a state of cleanness, meaning that a man is not even cohabitating with his wife. So our brothers are sitting there, yeah, man, we need to get ready to this war. All right, you ready? You better hug Sharon tight tonight. Got some cold nights ahead. Go ahead.
He shall not come within the camp. But it shall be, when evening comes on, he shall wash himself with water. And when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again.
When the sun is down. See, all our instruction is contained right in here. When the sun is down, the new day begins. Go ahead.
You shall have a place also without the camp, whither you shall go forth abroad. And you shall have a paddle upon your weapon. And it shall be, when you will ease yourself abroad, you shall dig therewith, and shall turn back and cover that which comes from you.
Even the dogs used to do this. Go ahead.
For Yahweh your Elohim walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you.
Pay attention. Yahweh your Elohim walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you. Go ahead.
And to give up your enemies before you. Therefore shall your camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in you and turn away from you.
Right. So what happens if we don't do what we're supposed to do around here? And Yahweh come and say, you know, I was going to come and deliver. This place is filthy. And I'll come back later. But you need your deliverance now, though. That thing is about to happen to you right now. Then now your deliverance didn't come on time. Now, do you turn around and say, I can't believe Yahweh didn't even come to rescue me. I was praying, I was fasting, I was doing everything. And Yahweh didn't get. Yeah, you fast, you prayed, but you didn't clean. You didn't clean. He came in there and he said, I'm not going in there. Ain't you ever went in a restaurant before and looked at it and said, I'm not eating in here? I'm not eating in here. I done walked in some places and I walked right back out. Sir, can we help you? Absolutely not. Because if your attention to cooking is like it is to these walls, I'm definitely not eating nothing that was cooked back there. Because I can't even see back there, but I see up here and it don't look good. So you could have not gotten your blessing just because he said you ain't clean right. See, this is, the power of brothers being able to have, stay-at-home wives. Why would the house ever be nasty? When the blessing didn't show up, half the people gonna look at that man. Well, what it is that you doing that the blessing didn't come here? Maybe he came here and he saw these nasty socks and drawers in the floor and turned around and walked out. Go ahead, bro. That was it right there? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 56.
$762.
See, there's a whole lot of things we as a family we're gonna have to get used to. As it say, the house of Dawid and their wives apart, the house of this and their wives apart. What? When Yahweh separate, the men got to go and take care of that business, and them sisters had to take care of their business over there. But you got folk that, I'm going to take care of my business if we together holding hands. So I can only clean if we hold hands and clean together. Well, I can only fight if my wife is there rooting me on. Well, you're going to die. Because she can't come here. She's not going to be in that field with you. What do you think? You going to be in the bushes, she going to be in the tree? No, I fight better when she around me. You're going to have to figure it out, cat. Isaiah 56, and let's read verses 1 through 8.
Thus says Yahweh, keep you judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that does this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keeps the Sabbath from polluting it, and keeps his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh speak.
Wait a minute, because you got a whole group of Hebrews that they are completely against every other nationality except us. And then, how do you even define us? You know, do we have a black measuring tool? Wait a minute. If you're lighter than paper bag, then we can't accept you in this group. What's gonna be that measuring line? Because you know, half the time when you look at some of the people who are the deepest activists for our people, you ever notice that they're the brightest ones of us? Mm-hmm. I'm talking Angela Davis, light skin. Have you looked at Hannah Jones, who did the 1619 Pride? Have you looked at how light she is? I'm talking translucent clear. I'm talking, but see, you gotta look. Sometimes these be the deepest activists for our folk. You gonna deny them? What if they mixed in a way that you don't like? Do they not get a pass? Are they being held on how they look, or are they being held on their works? Just asking. We get a lot of emails. Y'all don't even see all the emails that we get. And you tell what kind of thought process folks be on. Go ahead.
Saying, Yahweh has utterly separated me from his people.
Uh-huh.
Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree.
Well, now, the eunuch is one who has made a vow that he is not going to be with a woman. So then he will not produce children. Yahweh said, hey, he's not going to be a dry tree. I'm going to produce for him. Go ahead.
For thus says Yahweh unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in mine house, and within my walls a place and name better than of sons and of daughters. I'll give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off.
Uh-huh.
Also the sons of the stranger.
Wait a minute. Also the sons of the stranger. Now it's about to make some of them Hebrew Negroites is about to be really upset. Go ahead.
That join themselves to Yahweh.
They join themselves to Yahweh. Go ahead.
To serve him.
They didn't just stand on the sideline and be shoebop singers. It says the sons of the stranger join themselves to Yahweh to serve. Go ahead.
And to love the name of Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
To be his servant.
Uh-huh.
Everyone that keeps the Sabbath from polluting it,
uh-huh,
and takes hold of my covenant.
Uh-huh.
Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer.
So you gonna kick them out? He sent them an invitation. You gonna tap their invitation? Go ahead.
Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar.
What? Now, don't get it twisted. Now, their things will be accepted for them to offer. They won't be conducting the offering. Now, let's not go. Come on, let's not be rash. All right, calm down. All right, go ahead.
For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people.
There you go. Go ahead.
The Adonai Yahweh, which gathers the outcasts of Israel, says, yet will I gather others to him, beside those that are gathered onto him.
Now, this is the thing that I don't understand about, a lot of the other Hebrew groups and whatnot. If Yahweh only calls us, and if you're supposed to be kings and priests, what exactly are you ruling over if it's only you? Can you imagine a tribe of Indians, but there's only chiefs? They all ordering, they giving out orders. Yes, we must go get dances with wolves, and we must do such and such. All right, now who gonna go get the tree? Well, you go get it. No, I'm a chief. Okay, well, you go get it. No, I'm a chief too. Wait a minute, you go get it. Now, look like we all chief. I think we gonna starve. Ain't gonna work. How you the king? You ain't got nothing to rule over. Don't make no sense. And if your thought process of ruling is how the people have ruled over us, I can already tell you ain't gonna make it. You don't match evil with evil. We're not gonna be able to operate like that. And we ain't gonna even want to. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3. See, when Yahweh takes care of you, it's certain things that just you release out of your own mind. There's certain things that you like, man, I was really gonna do such and such. The man I got here, man, and Yahweh had that brand new car for me. I just, you know what? I said, I ain't gonna worry about that dude put that dent in my old Chevy. I ain't gonna even worry about it. But when that old Chevy all you got, you be like, hey, bro, you gonna fix this dent in my Chevy. Until you get to the house and find that brand new Batman wagon in the driveway. You say, who got me this? Y'all know, I didn't tell you I was getting you this. But I'm scheduled to fight with this dude about my Chevy. Do you still go ahead with the fight? See? Now you done scheduled the fight. You done told him, no, we fighting. But you got to the house. And there's a brand new Batman wagon sitting in the driveway. Do you not repent at that point? And go tell that man, you know what? I came on to you too harsh. My Elohim is taking care of me, and I'm actually ashamed that I was going to fight you about that beat up truck. It had 16 dents in it before you hit it. I feel ashamed being upset with you about it. But now that my Elohim has given me what he has given me, I feel even more ashamed. Or you just going to go along with the argument, because you done already announced it, and, people ready to see the argument. Go ahead, bro.
That was it.
Zephaniah chapter 3, and started at verse 1.
Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction. She trusted not in Yahweh, she drew not near to her Elohim. Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests are polluted, the sanctuary, they have done violence to the law. The just, Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do lawlessness. Every morning does he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knows no shame. I have cut off the nations. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none pass by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant. I said, surely you will fear me. You will receive instruction, so their dwelling should not be cut off. Howsoever, I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings. Therefore wait you upon me, says Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh, to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. In that day shall you not be ashamed for all your doings, wherein you have transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of you them that rejoice in your pride, and you shall no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. I will also leave in the midst of you an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahweh. The remnant of Israel shall not do lawlessness, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
You have to look at what causes us to do most of this. A lying, deceitful tongue, because we're trying to get some money. It is the reason why we do most of the deceitful things that we do. Trying to get ahead. Even in the situation where we trying to get a woman. Now, we got to get more than that, brother, so we can get that woman. So now I got to be more deceitful so I can get more stuff so she'll look at me. Yahweh said, wait a minute. I take care of all that for you. You ain't got to go get no house. I got land for you. I got houses already on the land. What you being deceitful for? The house ain't never going to get taken from you. What you got to be deceitful for? Go ahead.
Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Yahweh has taken away your judgments. He has cast out your enemy. The King of Israel, even Yahweh, is in the midst of you. You shall not see evil anymore. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear you not, and to Zion, let not your hands be slack. Yahweh your Elohim in the midst of you is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over you with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over you with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of you, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict you, and I will save her that halts, and gather her that was driven out, and I'll get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame.
In every land where they have been put to shame. So Yahweh already says, the prophecies say that he's going to go and get Israel out of a multitude of nations. That's why you have people all of a sudden saying, well, we're going to change the law of Aliyah, to the land. We will decide which ones can come to Israel. It's the same game that they played on our forefathers. You can only vote if your granddaddy voted. Of course, they were like, my granddad was a slave. Well, there it is then. Them same little policies, same people, same game. Go ahead.
At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, says Yahweh.
Right. And I will bring forth a pure language. Why would he bring forth a pure language? Now you got all of these people coming together. When people say, it's only going to be Israel. Wait a minute. The whole part of turning that pure language is so that those people can all communicate and do all of those things in one order in serving Yahweh. Let's go to Acts chapter 2. And this is what we find. These blessings were handed out, and they were a foreshadowing of those things. For the children of Israel speak many languages. We have been spread all across the globe. Acts chapter 2, and let's start at verse 1.
And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Right. And our Pentecost lines exactly up with the Pentecost that's on their yearly calendar. Now, here's the problem. You know all of the things that we have to count to get to that. We have to first start with the vernal equinox, the beginning of spring. We get our new moons. We count. We find out when the Passover is. We find out when first fruits is. Then the next weekly Sabbath from that, we count 7 Sabbaths. And then the next day is Pentecost. So we will celebrate our Pentecost Saturday night. They will be celebrating their Pentecost on Sunday. How is it that we on the same day? That mean they know when Passover is. That mean they know when first fruits is. That mean they know when the Sabbath is. They just not going to keep any of those things, but they're going to keep Pentecost. Why? Because a offering is being handed out among all the men, and the false way they have looked at speaking in tongues. It's a win-win for somebody who likes show. But we know if it's 7 Sabbaths and the next day, if you thought Sunday was the Sabbath, then Pentecost should be on a Monday. We know that it's 7 Sabbaths, which is Saturday. The next day is that Pentecost. That's why ours is on Saturday night. Because that's when Sunday begins. Go ahead.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other languages, as the Spirit gave them utterance.
Right. Now, imagine that there's some people that's studying so they can speak the language because they said this is going to make them holier. But you still been studying one language. Israel coming from every land. How does that help you with people who come from 30 other nations speaking 30 different languages? You speak the one that we didn't grow up with. But we have been told that, if you speak this one, it's going to make you holier. Yahweh said, "I'll spread these people everywhere. They're going to speak whatever they were born in. But when it come time, I got them." Go ahead.
But the Holy Spirit sat on them, and then they spoke in different languages.
Uh-huh.
But learning to speak Hebrew going to make you holier.
Hey, brother, but see, this is also one of the things that we get from the people who are in control of the land. See, they boast to themselves, well, we speak the language. Yeah, because you never been anywhere else. If it was because of this book, you supposed to not be able to speak that language. See, you boasting only tells me that ain't you. This is why he says, "I'm going to speak to them with stammering lips and another tongue." This is why it was given to the Gentiles to preserve. He know the Gentiles is finna get ready to rule. I'm going to put it in their hand. If he had gave it to us, it would be somewhere in the trunk of somebody's wagon with chicken grease all over it right now. We wouldn't even know where at it. So he knew who could preserve it. Go ahead.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Yehudis, devout men out of every nation under heaven.
Out of every nation under heaven. But they went one place and got all the Jews. How is that possible? That ain't possible in the Old Testament or the New. Go ahead.
Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying...
Now, that is your key, your key or your clue right here. Every man heard them speak in his own language. So when somebody tell you that the tongues is that goo gobbledygoo that they speaking, tongue is a language. So when Klepto and all them get the you should ask him, what language is that? What language is that? Cause they gave us a list of languages in school to study, and I didn't see humdala. I didn't see that nowhere. And according to this book, it's supposed to be a translator. Who translated humdala? Who did that? Who translated that? So tell me what you said, Klepto. He can't tell you what he said. I speak in the spirit. Now you spoke to some spirit. I don't know what spirit it was, but you might want to keep one eye on him. At least he show up. Go ahead.
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own language, wherein we were born?
Check that out. So you out studying, and the other people studying to get the spirit. But you studying root words. Go ahead.
Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia.
Medes.
Russians.
Black Russians. And we thought it was just a drink. Go ahead.
And in Judea and Cappadocia and Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Yehudis and proselytes.
You know what's funny? Not one time was Germany mentioned. You don't think that's quite ironic? They got all of these places, most of these places we ain't never been, that we know of, not us here. But one place it don't mention, it's the place that they somehow found all of them. That's peculiar. Go ahead.
Cretes and Arabians, who do hear them speak in our own language.
It even say Arabians. Wait a minute, but it didn't say German in no place. So wait a minute. The dude who owned the corner store could be closer to Jew. Ooh. Half the time, don't they say something else when we go, hello, my brother. Mm-hmm. You're my brother. I'm like, why you keep saying it? I just said you're my brother. Especially when I walk in, you know, and I ain't cutting the grass, and then I walk in and I'm in culture. It's a different look that they give me. They start trying that whole conversation. Brother, come here. What do you need, brother? Man, you being a little bit too nice to me, man. I don't like that. I don't like that. I want you to be your normal, nasty self. This bothers me. But see, I used to go in with my uniform on. See, they treat you different then. See? But I don't wear no uniform no more. I go in my cultural clothing. I realize, oh no, it's a different treatment. It's a totally different level of respect that is shown toward you. My folks went to the cleaners and they like, what do you do? What do you do? And he wear this? Your husband wear this? My God. He's a holy man. Right. They want to know. We ain't cleaning no regular stuff. This ain't regular brother stuff here. Go ahead.
The wonderful works of Elohim. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, what meaneth this? Others mocking said, these men are full of new wine. But Cephas, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, you men of Judea, and all you that dwell at Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken to my words. For these are not drunken, as you suppose, seeing it is but the 3rd hour of the day. But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, says Elohim, I'll pour out of my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaids I'll pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I'll show wonders in heaven above, and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of the Adonai comes.
Right. Now, this great and notable day is connected to the redemption of the children of Israel. And yet we see a so-called redemption of people who didn't need to be saved, but there's a so-called redemption, but we don't have the events that are supposed to be connected to it. And we talking about in 50 years, we still ain't seen it. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Adonai shall be saved.
All right, that's all I want to do right there. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 35. Isaiah 35, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
Verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
The desert shall rejoice when it sees the true children of Israel. The desert is going to no longer be the desert. It ain't going to want to be dry and barren no more. Oh, Israel back. Flowers going to want to come out. Because you back. Go ahead.
It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of Yahweh and the excellency of our Elohim. Strengthen you the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your Elohim will come with vengeance, even Elohim with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped.
Well, and doesn't it say blindness in part has happened to Israel, and to the fullness of the Gentiles be come in? So all of Israel can't possibly see who we are at this point. Most of the people that we fight about who we are is us. Because that blindness is still upon them. But it's not going to always be that way. Go ahead.
Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes. And an highway shall be there, and a way.
Wait a minute now. A highway shall be there. When we came out of Egypt, they blocked certain paths. No, you can't come through here. See, when you look at the way things have been set up in the Holy Land now, you had a whole nation went through, disarmed everybody that was there, gave these people that they got out of Germany all this weaponry, taught them how to fight, and then just marched out one day. Absolute massacre. But this is the way that the Gentiles can say, we didn't do it. Yes, you did. You took all the weapons from them people and trained this other people and then walked out. You knew exactly what was going to happen. Straight annihilation. These people got sophisticated weapons. They got sticks. They throwing rocks at tanks. Go ahead.
And it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransomed of Yahweh shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away.
All right. Let's go to Yoel chapter 2. Yoel chapter 2. And let's start that at verse 1.
Blow you the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh comes, for it is near at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there has not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways. And they shall not break their ranks.
Right. Now, you're talking about all of these great things that are going to come against the true children of Israel. And our power is in Yahweh, our Elohim. See, even if, a lot of times we see all of these things and we go out and they say, oh man, they changing the laws. We're going to go out and buy us some weapons. We just not getting started buying weapons. Don't think that your weapon is going to do something with what they got. They've been buying weapons for hundreds of years. Them little pea shooters we got, that's just to, keep your bread. That's all you trying to do is to keep them from taking your bread and your eggs. That's all them little guns you got going to do. Because you sure ain't going to war with them pea shooters that we got. You shot 500 rounds. They were just getting started. They got 500 rounds in the kids' room. That was just little John's ammo. That ain't got the big John's ammo. He ain't even opened up his stash yet. Go ahead.
You got to think about some of the weaponry that they've possessed in the past that's now banned that we'll never get our hands on.
Right. Exactly. And you know they ain't turn it in. You think somebody turned in their bump stocks, you crazy. Yeah, hey, you'll know it when it hit you. But it's too late. Y'all know that was illegal. Go ahead.
Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Mm-hmm.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. And the stars shall withdraw their shining.
From one reading and one prophet to another, you keep hearing about the signs in the sky that are going to present themselves. Go ahead.
And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army. For his camp is very great. For he is strong that execute his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Therefore also now, says Yahweh, turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart and not your garments, and turn unto Yahweh your Elohim. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repents him of the evil. Who knows if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto Yahweh your Elohim. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Like the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say,
right. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar. But what's going to cause them to do that? When they see all the suffering that's coming upon our people. It's going to move you. It's going to be vexation to only understand the report. Yahweh may keep it from you, but just to see it is going to vex you. Go ahead.
Spare your people, O Yahweh, and give not your heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their Elohim? Then will Yahweh be jealous for his land and pity his people. Yea, Yahweh will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and you shall be satisfied therewith. And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen, but I'll remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive them into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he has done great things. Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for Yahweh will do great things. Be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring, for the tree bears her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. Be glad then, you children of Zion, and rejoice in Yahweh your Elohim, for he has given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month.
So Yahweh is then going to give us all of those things that have been taken from us as a people. See, there's some of us that are doing good. We living good. That good ain't even a drop compared to what we supposed to have. The richest of us is still poor. And this says, a Hebrew slave was supposed to be kept 7 years. After that, he's supposed to be returned to his land. How many sevens done passed since we've been here? And it says, hey, you don't let him go out empty. He's been a good servant unto you. So that stuff, when we go out of here, they owe us that. Go ahead.
And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with wine and oil. And I'll restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you.
So all the things that the nations have eaten up from generation to generation, all that's got to come back. You got to understand, some of those things are already worth billions. How do you pay back something of free labor 300 to 400 years ago? Do you understand what that would be worth today? When people get back pay, I mean, understand, they give you back pay, they say, well, how long? Let's say you was in an accident. They say, all right, well, we got to pay you for your loss of, income. So they say, all right, how much you made? Normally before the accident. All right, how many hours you normally work? So they add that up, 40 hours a week. Well, wait a minute. Now, slave. They said, well, how long you work? Well, forever. What? We're trying to add up your hours. How many hours you work? Well, how many hours is in a day? It's 24. Well, that's how many I work. I mean, I slept about 2 or 3. So I can get up and work the next day. So imagine what the back pay is. It ain't going to be 40 hours a week. Right. Go ahead.
And you shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of Yahweh your Elohim that has dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh your El, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I'll show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness.
Here we go again.
And the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of Yahweh come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh had said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call.
All right. Let's go to Psalms 105. Psalms 105. And we're going to start that at verse 1. Now, this is going to be the last one that we're going to read, but there are some other things that we got to go into to get to this, to get some understanding here. So we're going to start this at verse 1.
Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people.
Hold on. So give thanks unto Yahweh and call upon his name, not call upon the name. Go ahead.
Sing unto him, sing psalms unto him, talk you of all his wondrous works.
Right. And then in anything, we singing. We singing when we happy. We singing when we sad. We sing when we rich. We sing when we poor. We just sing. You ain't got to be no awesome singer to sing for Yahweh. Do you have a voice? Can you talk? Well, you can sing. Go ahead.
What the statement is, make a joyful noise. It's noise, but it's joyful, right?
Hey, bro, let me tell you something, bro. I can beat on this glass and make a...
Come on now.
What? Come on, bro. What? We can get a band, gonna get to me. Come on now, come on. I said Yahweh. What? What? Come on, man. Go ahead, bro.
Glory you in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahweh. Seek Yahweh and his strength. Seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works that he has done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O you seed of Abraham, his servant, you children of Jacob, his chosen. He is Yahweh, our Elohim. His judgments are in all the earth. He has remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Esaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, Unto you will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance, when you were but a few men in number, yea, very few, and strangers in it. When they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another people. He suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved kings for their sake.
He reproved kings for their sake. See, a lot of the things that come upon us is because we have decided that we're not going to walk in the instruction that he has given us. But we have protection. We just walk out from up under the protection. Go ahead.
Saying, Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron. Until the time that his word came, the word of Yahweh tried him. The king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people, and let him go free. He made him master of his house and ruler over all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure and teach his senators wisdom. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
So then he's telling you he went to Egypt, and he's telling you that Egypt is the land of Ham. So then we got the whole marketplace right there, all right? Because, you know, if we're going to deal with some black history, then we got to deal with some black history. So let's go to the next graphic. I want you to read Genesis chapter 10 and verse 6.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Phut and Canaan.
All right, so it said that Israel dwelt in the land of Ham. Now, when people keep telling you that you anti-Semitic, they saying Shemitic, Shem. You have, you know, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Israel is Shemites, okay? But it says that Israel dwelt in the land of Ham. So as we read this Ham, those are Strong's numbers that are by each one of these words. So then what we're going to do, let's read the definition of Ham.
H2526. The same as H2525, hot, from the tropical habitat.
So Ham means burnt. Israel dwelt in the land of burnt-faced people. Okay. Now let's read the next. The son was Cush. So now read Cush.
3568. Brown driver's brig, Cush equals black.
So you got burnt black and the son just black. So he might be a little lighter than the daddy. He's just black. Now let's go to the next definite next son, Phut. Go ahead.
H6316. Phut or Put, a bow, a nation people of northern Africa.
A people of northern Africa. They want to separate Israel from Africa. Okay? Let's go to the next graphic. Canaan.
H3667. Lowland, the fourth son of Ham and the progenitor of the Phoenicians and of various nations who peopled the seacoast of Palestine.
Wait a minute. So, original Palestinians come from burnt black Ham. Okay, go ahead.
The land west of Jordan, peopled by the descendants of Canaan and subsequently conquered by the Israelites under Yahshua.
Now, so then Israel was called Canaan land. Then as we back up, Canaan, his brothers, Cush, which equals black, his daddy Ham, burnt black. Go to the next graphic.
Ham. Ham signifies burnt or black, and his name was peculiarly significant of the regions allotted to his family, to the Cushites or descendants of Cush,
All Cushites, and it'll tell you straight up, that's Ethiopian, all right, African. Go ahead.
were allotted the hot southern regions of Asia.
Now it says hot, all right? People of that region, you have to be melanated to stay in there without being completely covered and have to stay in. That's why the folks have to end up getting somebody else to do their labor. Because that sun is so strong. Go ahead.
Along the shores of the Persian Gulf, Susiana or Cushistan, etc., to the sons of Canaan, Palestine and Syria, to the sons of Mizraim, Egypt, and Libya in Africa.
All right, so that right there, I want to go, still hold your place in Psalms. I want to read a few lines in Genesis 42. Because as we're dealing with, these things, it is important that we know where they are instead of just having some conversation. We need to be able to prove that conversation. So we read in this book that Joseph, a brother of the rest of the Israelites, ended up living with the Hamites. He was taken as a prisoner and rose to ranks. We read Ham is burnt black. All right, now let's read about Joseph in this situation. Genesis 42, and I want you to read verses 6 through 8.
And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their face to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come you? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food.
All right, so they think he's an Egyptian. They think he's a Hamite. So if he was white,
Come on now. Come on now. Preach.
read.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him.
They knew not him. Now jump to verse 21.
And they said one to another.
Now they don't know that he understands them because now he done learned the Egyptian language. So he's speaking to them in the Egyptian language. So they don't know that he understands their language. Go ahead.
We are very guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul.
Now they talking about him, what they did to him. But they don't think he understands that because they think he dead. They are standing in front of their brother talking about we are being punished for what we did to our brother. Go ahead.
When he besought us, and we would not hear, therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and you would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter.
Right. So he knew exactly what they were saying, but they didn't know. So you have this Israelite who is mistaken so much that his own brothers don't even know that that's him. How did everybody turn white? This whole thing is taking place in Africa. Somebody please tell. Now, if we're going to talk about black history, all we got to do is open this Bible and start up. We in Genesis and we talking about black history. This whole thing takes place in Africa, yet somehow we have been convinced that everybody in here white. And if we say that this is us,
Hey, oh, you know what I'm saying? Now they doing black supremacy.
now they say we're a hate group. Why? Because I know how to read? Does reading make me a hate monger? Because I know how to read? The definition said they black. And this book said that his own brothers didn't know him from an Egyptian Hamite. That means he looked just like him. Now let's go back to Psalms. Now we can go and read Psalms with a little bit more confidence. See? Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. I don't want you to be like, this is Psalms. Psalms 105. No, you got to say it. Say it like, we're going to read Psalm 105, brother. No, I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about. Say it with your chest. You in here. You in here. Start at verse 24.
And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. He sent Moshe his servant and Aaron whom he had chosen. They showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of